point, we will return to our agenda for the day. The next bill up is HB358 relating to video conferencing. This will require both chambers of the legislature to implement rules to permit residents, primarily on neighbor islands, to present testimony through audiovisual technology. First up on this bill, we have Office of Information Management and Technology. In support. Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Department of Accounting and General Services.
Chair, thanks, and in support.
In support. Thank you very much. Next, we have Common Cause Hawaii. In support. Next, we have Brian Lehman. In support. Next, we have Councilmember Karen Aoff. In support. Next, we have Steve Holmes. Also in support. That, I believe, is all the written testimony. Yes, that's all the written testimony we have on HB 358. Anyone else wishing to testify on HB 358? Please come forward. Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Margaret Willey, County Council, member for County of Hawaii, District 9, North and South Kohala. And I just want to urge support for this. This is an important matter for me and my constituents, and something we're working on. Just keeping in mind that we have no villages, we have no towns. We have county as our first level of government. There's an ocean between my constituents and you all. I do have no problem with whatever mechanisms you feel are necessary to make it reasonable and workable, whether it's signing up so much in advance, whatever procedures, so that you can do this without it becoming overwhelming or burdensome. But it is this sort of growing distrust and concern and feelings of being uninformed, and I really urge you to pass this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to testify on HB 358? Seeing none, members, questions? Okay, let me just check. Well, I'm not quite sure who asked this question. How about DAGs? Can you come up, please? In your reading of the bill, does it require that the House and Senate? I guess I'm not. I mean, it looks like it might be interpreted as saying the House and the Senate have to reach out and have establish video conference rooms on the neighbor islands, which I think would be pretty difficult for us in terms of our actual internal administration. I was just curious how you read that.
I think the way we are Dean Seki, DAG's comptroller. I think the way we're interpreting it is that, or at least what I've been able to gather, is not so much a physical video conference room, but more assisting the neighbor island residents to be able to contact us, I guess, via laptop or PC and dial in, I guess, for lack of a better word.
And then we would just have a screen on the wall or on our computers or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess the devil is in the details. You know exactly how we want to control that. How are you going to control the folks that are dialing in? Or I guess like over here too, if you have, let's say, just by some chance you have 1,000 people that want to testify via video feed, so there's some things to work out.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, thank you very much. Let's see if I have any other questions for you. Let's see. Well, I mean, I guess that's the next question is, I have the sense that it is possible with with the likes of Skype and all the technology we have today, but you believe that it's that it's technically possible.
Oh, definitely. In fact, I think the Senate now has a pilot program. So when they heard this bill the other day, they actually had I think 3 people from the Big Island call in and testify in support of the bill.
And they put it on their computers, or they had it on the wall?
On a monitor on the wall.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much. Yes, Vice Chair Harr.
Director, Has the Department of Accounting and General Services looked into the cost of such, and again, recognizing that this is the Judiciary Committee, not the Finance Committee, but I can't help myself. Have you folks looked into the cost of video conferencing? And the only reason I ask is, as an attorney in private practice, I've actually done depositions via video conferencing, and the cost was certainly not cheap.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering, has DAGS in fact looked into the cost of, what this arrangement could potentially cost in terms of the general fund?
That's a very good question, Representative, and you're absolutely right about the cost. People think that it's kind of a inexpensive way because of, but you still have to pay the service that's helping you provide the service, the video service. But in this particular case, we've had some difficulty trying to identify a dollar figure because I think we need to work with both chambers and to try and identify specifically what it is the legislature wants to accomplish, and then once we figure that out, then we can move forward with a dollar amount.
Okay. Councilmember Willie, can I have you come up? Thank you for flying over and being here in person to testify. We appreciate it. So given that, let's say the cost it turns out to be, it is somewhat exorbitant, would the Hawaii County Island be willing to, let's say perhaps, if the cost, let's say for some reason the cost is insurmountable. So if that ends up being the case, would the Hawaii Island County be willing to perhaps work on an agreement with the state where they might be willing to appropriate some funds towards this endeavor?
Well, I would certainly encourage that. I would also appreciate maybe being able to work and maybe do this on a step-by-step basis and not just say, I can think of ways to do it where I'm sure that it wouldn't be exorbitant, and maybe using the facilities that we have on a county level. And it wouldn't mean that every hearing and everything is available, but let's just start and show the intent that we want to do this and make it work. And then I have some question about whether to do it where you're on your personal computer and you're doing that. I would prefer to do it where you're doing it in a facility, and here it is.
Exactly.
And you're a more controlled situation, and I don't want it to fail. So I would urge a little more control and a step-by-step, and working. If you wanted to take the Big Island, ours is the distances people travel are great, and do it maybe, if you want to do one county or whatever. So I would just ask that you take some steps in moving there and work on some controls. I would be sure that it was not exorbitant and that you would...
Okay. But again, so long as the Big Island Council would be amenable to being open, in the event that the cost did turn out to be somewhat exorbitant. Yeah. No, but again, if you're assuming that, again, the fact that you flew over here to testify in person...
So Karen Eoff was another, and I think there's a strong support, and it is just being informed is right now a real issue there, and wanting to be part of all of
And
this.
I think we're all cognizant of that with respect to our neighbor island colleagues. I think this is an issue for all of our neighbor island constituents. But the fact of the matter is video conferencing is a very expensive venture.
I have no
question. And so that being said, if this is something that's not a priority on the radar for the general fund, and yet it's so important to our neighbor island colleagues and their constituents, it would be in the best interest of all parties, the stakeholders, to consider some type of fee share agreement.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
And we'll be in touch.
Thanks very much. Members, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next bill, HB 1270.